Ferrari has clear ideas for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix at the 6.174-kilometer Jeddah Corniche Circuit this weekend, namely to make a clear step forward. In Formula One, what is needed is a lot of substance and few words, and lately, the communication from the Prancing Horse has certainly not been flawless in this regard. Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton will once again have to give their all, bearing in mind that the new floor, after data analysis from Sakhir, could provide those still untapped benefits, but the differences between the Ferrari drivers need to be smoothed out. After the Bahrain GP comes Jeddah, a completely different track. We are talking about high-speed corners where good balance and floor-generated downforce are essential. There are also many straights, so efficiency is fundamental. The Saudi Arabian round will be the second weekend in which the SF25 cars will be fitted with the floor revised in several areas by the engineers led by Ferrari head of Aerodynamics Diego Tondi. The Maranello aerodynamicists have confirmed that the expected downforce points were achieved. The Ferrari drivers are confident, especially Charles Leclerc, who once again made his goal with the Italian side clear yesterday. A slightly different story for Lewis Hamilton, who is still trying to adapt to the SF25. In his case, he must let go of the driving style developed at Mercedes and fully commit to the Italian car. The Italian single-seater continues to show a certain lack of rotation on track, a trait that significantly affects the Ferrari drivers' handling. It is a chronic feature that the drivers have been trying to fix since the early races. Charles Leclerc has succeeded impressively, while Lewis Hamilton, as mentioned, has yet to shake off the past and embrace a different, more effective approach to driving the Ferrari. Jeddah should be more suited to the characteristics of the SF25, while Bahrain was one of the toughest races among the early rounds of the championship. Now we move to a track that is somewhat easier in several respects. The Maranello team needs more front-end grip, otherwise, in high-speed corners, they will lose a lot of minimum apex speed, a crucial parameter for this kind of turn. The rear-end instability seen in onboards through the snake section won't help either. Ferrari had expected more from the new floor, but on a different circuit, as Charles Leclerc mentioned, we should see this major component perform more effectively. Also, with regard to ride heights, this track could suit the SF25. Smoother track surface, typically stiffer suspension setups, and greater ease in lowering the car by those few missing millimeters. As for the rear setup, Ferrari arrives in Saudi Arabia with a slight modification to the rear wing. The specification remains the same, so it is not a real upgrade. The only difference lies in the drag reduction system flap, which features a slightly altered cord in an attempt to reduce drag with the system closed, a specific move tailored to this kind of circuit. The Maranello team might find this track less complicated when it comes to thermal tire management. Compared to Sakhir, where activation issues were evident, preventing proper management of the car's operating window in both qualifying and the race, this should not be a problem in Jeddah. The energy load and distribution across the compounds are completely different. We know the historic Italian team is working hard on this area. Indeed, just like in the 2024 Formula One season, the ability to manage the tires is crucial, often more so than any upgrade. Ground effect cars are very sensitive to this parameter, and if McLaren consistently extracts strong performance, it is largely due to their ability to handle the tires. For this reason, the race drivers have worked on warm-up strategy in the simulator, which is extremely important at this track, especially considering the long straights that tend to cool down the front axle. Ferrari believes it can manage this situation well in Jeddah. In just a few hours, already in the first free practice sessions, we will understand the effectiveness of the measures implemented at the factory on this important front. Tire management will therefore be the major theme of the Saudi Arabian weekend, though in a different way from the previous round. The Bahrain Grand Prix was decided by race pace management, while in Jeddah, qualifying regains importance, albeit not to the same extent as in Suzuka. The chase is therefore on for McLaren, which appeared vulnerable on a single lap. Ferrari aims to take advantage of its strength in high-speed corners, provided it can master the tricky use of new tires on Saturday. The Saudi circuit is high-speed and rewards aerodynamic efficiency. With its average qualifying lap speed of 250 km per hour, around 35 more than Bahrain, Jeddah is essentially a street version of Silverstone. Many of its high-speed bends are taken at over 200 km per hour, aligning perfectly with Ferrari's strengths. Charles Leclerc stated less than a month ago that they had made significant progress in high-speed corners, but that low and medium speed corners remained areas where improvement was still needed. In Saudi Arabia's sweeping corners, cars experience up to 5G of lateral acceleration, an opportunity for Ferrari to capitalize on its qualities. The SF25 will also be able to exploit the additional downforce of its new floor, which couldn't be fully appreciated in Bahrain. The smooth asphalt, free from Suzuka's bumps and irregularities, will also help mitigate the challenges of managing ride height and allow the car to run lower to the ground. However, Ferrari must still confront its weak spots, notably the banked turns from corners 5 to 9 and the long curve at 13, where both McLaren and Mercedes have shown good stability. The track also features slower speed sections, particularly the first chicane and final hairpin, requiring strong balance. Above all, a good qualifying performance will be essential in Jeddah, putting the championship leaders on alert. Pirelli is supplying the C3, C4, and C5 compounds, softer than the harder tires used in Bahrain and Japan, and also one step softer than those seen at last year's edition. Accordingly, Pirelli has raised the tire pressures to 25.5 psi at the front, 1.5 more than last year, and 21.5 psi at the rear. The softer compounds bring uncertainty in terms of race degradation and graining, a phenomenon to which McLaren is particularly sensitive. In 2024, an early safety car forced nearly everyone to fit the hardest compound on lap 8, comfortably completing the remaining 42 laps. This year, with softer tires, some level of management will be needed even if teams still consider a one-stop strategy. With 3 DRS zones, overtaking is feasible, more so than in Suzuka, but the sequence of sweeping corners makes it difficult to follow another car in dirty air. This makes qualifying crucial, which limits McLaren's typical advantage. The MCL39 car is well-balanced and rich in downforce, and its strength lies in tire management over long stints, especially the rear tires under traction. Jeddah, however, is a front-limited circuit with recurring graining risks. The Woking car also does not give drivers much confidence over a single lap, vital for attacking corners close to the walls. It will be interesting to see how Norris and Piastri gel with the chosen setup, though their confidence will depend heavily on tire behavior. The softer compounds will amplify dynamics seen in past Jeddah qualifying sessions. One is drivers' greater confidence with the medium rather than the soft, due to less shoulder deformation in corners exceeding 200 km/h. Another challenge is the prep lap, balancing axle temperatures to have tires ready for the technical first sector, while still managing them over all 27 corners. It's not uncommon to see teams experimenting with both single and double warm-up laps. The biggest difficulty, however, lies elsewhere. In 2024, Pirelli chief engineer Simone Barra explained that Jeddah was a very different circuit from Bahrain, particularly in terms of the track surface. He added that with this layout and asphalt, it was very difficult to extract the potential of the softest compound. Bahrain's coarse surface enhanced hysteresis and mechanical grip, whereas Jeddah's ultra-smooth asphalt highlights adhesive grip. The challenge is to extract maximum performance from a soft tire with high grip on a surface that's also very grippy. The soft compound has a significant performance peak, but within a narrow window. In Jeddah, it can actually be easier to use a previously run soft in qualifying. Having already undergone a thermal cycle, the tire becomes more stable, works across a broader temperature range, and provides more confidence, despite slightly less grip. The Pirelli chief engineer mentioned during last year's event that many drivers had improved on used tires, noting that once they stabilized and could be used within a broader window, they performed better.